Welcome to qnawire.
Okay guys, this is chapter 15, question 6. In this question, we're given this table that's the price and quantity demanded schedule for a play that we want to put on to make a little bit of extra money in a town with 300 adults and 200 children. And so in the first part of the question, we're asked if we want to maximize profits and we can charge different prices to adults and children, how much would we charge for an adult ticket and how much would we charge for a child's ticket, and then how much profit would we make. So remember that if we're going to maximize profit, we want to maximize profits, we're going to set our price such that the marginal cost equals the marginal revenue, and in this case the marginal cost equals 0. And so this table is going to be pretty big here, so bear with me, but we're going to have adults and we're going to have kids. We have price, quantity, revenue, and marginal revenue for adults. We have price, quantity, revenue, and marginal revenue for kids, and then we have total revenue and then the total marginal revenue. So for a price of 10, we see that no children and no adults go, so I'm not even going to write that down. But for a price of 9, we have 100 adults for a total revenue for adults of 900, a marginal revenue for adults of 900. And then for a price of 9, we have no kids, no revenue, no marginal revenue for the children, so the total revenue is 900, and the total marginal revenue is 900. For a price of 8, we see that there are 200 adults. That's going to be a revenue for adults for 600 or 1600, a marginal revenue of 700, and there's still no children that are going to go for a price of 8. So we have our total revenue is 1600 and our marginal revenue is 700. And then 7, we see 300 people will go. That's 2100 in revenue, 500 for marginal revenue, and 7, we still have no children that go, so we have 2100 and 500. So then we're going to do 6, 5, and the last one we're going to do is 4 because that's the only one that's relevant for the question, but you should continue when you do this by yourself to fill out the remainder of the table. There are only 300 people in town, so decreasing the price from 7 to 6, there's still only going to be 300 adults, which means now there's only 1800 in revenue, and so we have minus 300 in marginal revenue. And at a price of 6, there's still no children. So we have 1800 and we have minus 300. So we can see that now the price for adults has crossed below the marginal cost, and so the optimal ticket price for adults is going to be 700. And you can probably guess, since I ended at 4, that the 4 is going to be the relevant price for kids. So I'm going to skip 5 just for brevity's sake and say no, there's still only 300 adults. So a price of 4, 300 are going to show up. We're going to have 1200. It's still going to be a minus 300 marginal revenue. You'll see that when you fill in number 5 yourselves. But for a price of 4, we're going to have 100 kids. Sorry, for a price of 4, we're going to have 200 kids. The total revenue for kids will be 800. The marginal revenue is going to be 300. Total revenue is going to be 2000, and the marginal revenue is going to be 0. And since marginal cost equals marginal revenue here, 4 is going to be the optimal price to charge for a kid. We're going to see that the revenue, total revenue is going to be 2100 that you're going to get from adults, plus the 800 you get from a kid equals 2900, and you're going to subtract the $2,000 it originally cost, and you're going to get $900 in profit. For the second part of the question, we're told what price would we charge and how much profit would we make if the city council passed a law that said we have to charge everybody the same price. And so we're definitely going to make very little money if we charge adults the kids' price And so we can see from the table in the first question that we made that we're going to maximize our profit where the adult price is $7. And so if you go back and you look at the previous table, once you filled it all out, you'll see this, but at a price of $7, we're going to make $2,100 in total revenue, and then we subtract the $2,000 it cost us to produce the play, and we're still going to make a profit of $100. The third part of this question is asking us who is better off and who is worse off if we can only charge one price. So in this question, there are only three players. There's the first player is us. Right, we're the one putting on the play. The second player are the adults, and the third player are the children. So we are going to be worse off because we're only making $100 in profits now instead of the $800 in profits that we were before. And so 100 is less than 800, so we're worse off. The adults are the same. Because they were going to see the play for $7, they're continuing to go see the play for $7. The children are also worse off because the children aren't going to go for $7, but that's the price we're going to charge. And so we see that there are two groups of the three that are worse off, and there's nobody that's better off. Last part of the question says, if the play costs $2,500 instead of $2,000, how are the answers in A, B, and C change? Well, the answer in A would be, we would still charge $7 we'd still charge $7 for adults. This is part A, and we still charge $4 for children. Nothing would change. In part B, we would no longer put on the play because it's not worth it to us anymore because we'd only make $2,100 and it now costs us $2,500. So we wouldn't make any money. And then same for part C, we would be worse off because we make less money. The children would be worse off because the children aren't going to actually, no, sorry, it's just us that's worse off because we make less money now. If we're still charging adults $7 and children $4, everybody's going to be exactly the same. In this case now, if we don't put on the show for when we have to charge everybody the same price, then adults are also worse off because they also don't get to see it. So everybody is worse off in part C. So this was chapter 15, problem 6.